So hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another Way of the Hunter video. Now this video is going to be mainly taking a look at hunting in the highlands and the mountains of Perce Valley here in Way of the Hunter. But we're starting off with this clip of me actually taking a black bear on the way up to some of the more mountainous areas. Now, this was one of the first black bear that I actually ever took down, and I was really excited to have the opportunity to actually take one here. The black bear seemed to be fairly scarce across the map, and a lot of people seem to really struggle with actually finding these guys, myself included. And just getting the opportunity there to take one, I was actually pretty excited. I like the fact that these are a harder species to actually find, they're not everywhere. I think that adds to the challenge of actually getting these, and of course, you know, eventually getting 5-star matures. There's going to be a lot more challenge to that, and I think that that's pretty cool. The model looks really quite good. I'm really quite impressed, especially with some of the details around the mouth and the nose. I think they look really good. With some of the predators and stuff, I think that there's some work that could be done. I think the eyes maybe need a little bit of improvement, but overall a really cool model. And the way that these guys move, like when it was walking along the edge of the water, I thought looked really good. And overall I'm pretty impressed with how the black bear are in this game. Like I said, I really enjoy the fact that they're not just everywhere across the map. They are a little bit more elusive. I think that makes them a bit more special to actually encounter, and therefore more fun to hunt in my opinion. But managed to take him there with a nice double lung shot from the 338 Lapua, and managed to get some damage on the heart there as well, so he really wasn't going to go anywhere, and actually some artery damage as well. So yeah, this bear was not going to go anywhere after that shot. As you can see, just absolutely going straight through the engine room. Yeah, he was not going to go very far after that, and that is why he didn't take more than a couple of steps before he went down. Now, I decided to take this guy out because he was only a 2-star adult, and looking at his genetic percentage there, he's only 72.9%. Now, I have to say it again, this is still being highly debated what this actually means. I have had a ton of comments of people being fairly sure what it means, but then I have seen some crazy stats. For example, a buddy of mine actually shot a 3-star young bull moose, which I've not seen a young animal above 1 star on its trophy rating. He shot a 3-star young bull moose, and I'll pop the screenshot up on screen so you guys can see that. And it didn't have the highest percentage genetics. I thought something like that surely would have 95 plus on its genetics, but it didn't. So I'm really curious as to what that actually means, because I thought, you know, an animal like that, it would have really high percentage genetics and a huge chance at being a 5-star. So very interesting. Now, something that goes along with hunting in the mountains is, of course, the fall damage, and that is what happens when you take too much fall damage. You'll go unconscious and you'll be teleported back to a lodge. But what I found particularly interesting about that clip is you guys may have noticed there was a wolf that appears just before I actually fall down. Now, I don't know if that wolf was actually hunting me, but I thought it was very odd to have a wolf just suddenly appear there. So I'm kind of thinking that that was my first aggressive encounter with a wolf, and it got ended because I fell down the cliff, which was a little unfortunate, but still I had to include that because it was a very interesting piece of footage to get, and I swear that wolf takes a snap at me just as I fall. So yeah, that was a bit interesting. But here you can see I'm hunting some bighorn sheep, again in this just incredible looking environment. Hunting in the mountains in this game, it really gives you the feel of hunting in the mountains. You've got to be so careful, the animals are so skittish, they seem to see you from so far away. And like I said, you've got the risk of the fall damage. And just the views and just everything about it is just so captivating. And the fact that it was raining when I came up here as well, I thought was pretty cool. And this was, again, a couple of the first bighorn sheep that I actually took out. So you will have seen there I took that one that didn't look all that impressive. And as I was actually tracking it down, there's another one here that I decided to take out. Now, you can see that these are only youngsters, but when I was first starting out, I was just more interested about getting some kills for all of the species on the ground, and honestly I don't regret taking these youngsters at all. I have had some incredible genetics in this area actually after these hunts, so yeah, it's not really affected anything, and you guys will actually get to see some of the awesome rams that I've had coming out of this area in another video. But yeah, just being up here, tracking the blood along all these rocks, and just the way that they've done like the environment detail here of the scenery, I think it's so fabulous. And the Bighorn models, they are really, really cool. I think they have done a fantastic job with these. Now, I'm sure most of you guys will have seen the incredible image that was shared shortly before this game actually fully released of a huge Bighorn ram up in the mountains. Well, I saw that image too, and that just made me want to get on and get up and hunt in the mountains as quickly as possible. And that was, yeah, just a really big driving force to actually come up here, because I wanted to find one of those really big rams, because they look awesome. Now, like I said, even these small ones, they still look pretty cool. So this is actually a 1-star adult that I took out here, so quite small for being, you know, an adult. I try to take anything that's a 1-star adult, 1-star mature, 2-star mature, and, you know, that seems to be working out pretty well for me in terms of my herd management. I'm getting a lot of 5 stars popping up, so I'm just kind of sticking with that. And this was just a perfect individual to take out. Now, this was the younger one that I took out, the 1-star youngster. I normally do leave 1-star youngsters unless I can see that they're obviously quite poor or very wonky. I've noticed that anything that has wonky horns or antlers never has good genetics, so I always try to take those out as quickly as possible. But once again, a very clean shot on this with the 7mm08. This was back when I was still using the 7mm08. I've mainly moved on to using the 308 now, but I still do love the 7mm08. Especially the camo version, which I was using here. I think it's a really good gun. But once again, not great genetics on this one. Still quite a small youngster, so again, not regretting taking that one out at all. And it was just cool to actually get some close-up looks at the Bighorn in this game. I think they are really, really cool. I love how chunky they look. They really are like sheep. They have done such a really good job of capturing them. Now, this one was sort of at the base of a few of the mountains. This road comes through the middle of some of the mountains, and then there's a little bit of a lake at the end. And I actually spotted these guys from way up on the mountain, and there was a campsite down here. Fast travelled down to the campsite, and then made a stalk on them and actually managed to shoot this one. Now, once again, this was a rather poor individual, so another one that I was quite happy to take out for the herd management purposes. And that shot was plenty to bring him down, going through the artery and lungs there. So of course that's going to bring him down nice and quickly, and he didn't go very far from that shot at all. Now, I have had a fair few questions regarding whether I would recommend getting the 7mm08 as an upgrade when you start off. I really would. It's going to give you guys such an advantage to bring down things like deer, bighorn, mountain goats, all of those kind of animals in that tier 5 class a lot quicker. So I definitely would recommend picking that up, and then you've got something that you can use to work towards getting things like the 308, etc. It's a really, really good gun. It has served me so incredibly well, and yeah, I do highly recommend it. Now we're going to take a look at what happens when I end up making a poor shot. Now, that was actually a 4-star Bighorn ram, and I kept an eye on him for a few days. You know, as I was playing and doing missions and other stuff, I kept coming back to the same spot and seeing his herd and checking on him to see if he was going to become a 5-star. And eventually it just got to a point where I decided, okay, I'm going to take this guy. He's not turning into a 5-star, and I will just go to take him. Now, I felt like I had a pretty solid shot on him, and then he turned and I felt like I'd hit him in the back leg. I tracked this ram for well over an hour before I managed to get that second shot into him, and as you'll see, that second shot brought him down just within a couple of steps. It was such a relief to finally get this guy on the ground. After that initial shot, I hate making poor shots, but it happens. It always is going to happen. Like, you know, you have an animal turn like that, you misjudge the distance, misjudge anything, basically, and you can have a shot go wrong. And you can see, I was just waiting to take that shot on his lungs, and then he started turning and going forward, and it just, yeah, straight through, basically nothing in that back leg. I wasn't lucky enough to hit an artery, unfortunately, and that wasn't going to kill him at all. Now, I have actually hit a mountain goat solely in an artery in its back leg, and it did kill it. So if I had clipped one of those arteries, that would have been enough for this guy to bleed out, but unfortunately, I didn't get lucky enough on that. But the second shot, as you guys can see, was heart shot, lungs, artery. So yeah, that was a pretty good second shot to actually put this big old ram down. And he's just an incredible looking animal. And I was so happy that I actually managed to make a good second shot, because I was thinking, gosh, that was such a bad first shot. I felt so bad. So kind of redeeming myself there with that secondary shot. But just an incredible looking ram. Like, knowing that this is only a 4-star and that they could get, you know, substantially bigger to be a 5-star, I was really, really excited by this. This was just like another sort of teaser. Seeing it in an image, in a screenshot, is always, you know, one thing, but seeing something in game that makes you want to go and look for one that's even bigger is something else. But yeah, a pretty nice 4-star mature, still got the 5-star hunt rating on it, which I don't know how. I would have imagined it would have been only a 4 or 3-star hunt rating, considering I took 2 shots. But really happy with that. He's still a pretty big ram, but I knew that I wanted to go and eventually find some bigger ones. But that was pretty cool to actually end up finding. Now, this little lake is actually on that road where I was talking about before, where I had the Bighorn out on the road in between some mountains. That road then leads up to this little bit of water, and there's like a snowbank going up the mountain, which is just a very cool environment, and I really like hunting around here. You'll get bighorn around here, wolves around here, mountain goat, just a really, really good spot with a lot of variety of game. And I do really like hunting the mountain game, like I've been saying, the mountain goats, the bighorn, etc. I really enjoy hunting these guys, and this is just a really good spot where you can see a couple of herds, at least on my map, and I can sort of assess them and manage them, and been trying to get some 5-stars. Now, I was looking here through this mountain goat herd, trying to assess which ones to take out. I could see that there was a 2-star adult, so that's one that I would typically leave. Anything that's above 1 star as an adult, I typically leave, hoping that they'll get, hopefully, to 2 or 3 stars as, you know, as an adult, and then maybe 3 or 4 as a mature. So that was one that I wasn't going to take out, but there was a 1-star adult that I was more than happy to actually remove from the herd. And it's nice to see the difference in the horn sizes, even in something like mountain goats. You can notice which ones are the bigger individuals and which ones are the smaller ones and the poorer ones. I've even seen mountain goats with uneven horns, which is something that's really, really cool to me. And I absolutely love seeing that, because it gives you an indication on, in my opinion, how well that herd is doing. So I took out this one. This one I was pretty happy with to remove from the herd. And once again, this model is just absolutely incredible. Those horns, the detail in the fur, just a really beautiful model. And I know a lot of people were very, I would say, critical of the mountain goat model when they saw them in the trailer for this game initially. But I am really impressed with how they look in game. I think they look really, really awesome. So super happy to actually get to finally harvest some. Now, I had actually been out in this area the day before, saw some mountain goats a little way away, tried to take a shot on one that was quartering away, and as you will have seen, unfortunately, that bullet didn't actually get through to a lung. It went through just in front of the lung. If I'd been a couple of inches back, would have gotten through to the lung and actually taken this one out. But managed to catch up with him the next day in this location, and as you'll see, the second shot did its job perfectly, straight through those lungs there, which of course brought him down nice and quickly. It was interesting to see that this was the individual I had decided to take the previous day, and had unfortunately not been able to successfully harvest, because when I took the shot they all disappeared up the mountain, and I tried to track them, but that's when I ended up falling down the mountain. So it kind of all links back up, but again, very happy to take this one out. As a 1-star adult, that's not really the quality of individuals I'm looking for in my herds. These are the sort of perfect cull candidates. 1-star adults, 1-star matures are always going to be the ones that I try to focus on taking out. And this one was no different. Still an incredible looking animal. So beautiful. And that's something about this game that I really love, is that every harvest feels like an achievement. It's not just, oh, I got a 5-star, and that's the constant thing you're looking for. I like the feeling of just hunting in this. Every time that I make a successful hunt, I make a successful shot, and manage to recover that animal, it feels like a proper achievement, and it makes me happy, and that's what makes me want to keep coming back and keep actually hunting and managing my herds. And seeing the progression of a herd's quality as you manage them, that gives me a lot of satisfaction as well. Seeing bigger and better animals popping up because you're carefully managing them is something that I really enjoy, and I think this game has done such a fantastic job of actually capturing all of the elements that they wanted to do in that respect, that it's addictive, because you want to see, okay, how's this herd progressed? How's this herd progressed? Let's go and take a look at this one today. Oh, there's a 4-star in that herd. Let's go and see how that one's grown, or if it needs taking out, etc. It's just really well done, in my opinion. Now, that shot was a little bit far back. Should have made that shot a little bit further forward. Now, this one was a 2-star adult. Now, normally this is the kind of animal that I would leave, but in that group, this did appear to be the poorest individual from what I could see, so that's why I opted to take this one in that circumstance. I have seen images of 3-star, 4-star adults, so you know, a 2-star is still towards the bottom end of what they can be potentially in terms of quality, and so if that is the lowest quality one in a group, then of course I'm going to opt to take that one, and that's kind of what happened in that circumstance. Again, really beautiful animal, was super happy with that hunt, and yeah, I really like the mountain goats. I think they're a really cool species. I like that they're a bit more of a challenge to hunt in this game, same with the Bighorn. I like the environments that they live in. It's just so scenic and cool, in my opinion. And, you know, if you spend hours chasing one through the mountains, it's quite the experience. So, yeah, super happy with that. Now, this was a very interesting circumstance that I just had to include in this video, because if we're talking about herd management, this was pretty much my ultimate herd management moment of recent. So, I had this group of elk that I was sort of stalking and trying to get a good look at, and they ran out into, I don't know really what to call this, it's almost like a bowl in the mountains. It was just like a dead end. It's surrounded by high cliffs on 3 sides, and the only way that they could get out of this area was if they ran back past me. So I basically was like, okay, this is a pretty nice open area, let's see if I can get a couple of these individuals out, because everything in this group was poor. The best thing in this group was a 2-star mature, which is not great. You can see the 2-star mature there, and I'm just taking a look at all the bulls. Most of them are 1-star matures, and I'm just like, this herd is no good. I wanted to see how many I could actually get out of this herd, because this is a herd that I was not happy with. Now, as you can see, managed to drop one of the bulls there. I am using the 338 here, which was a good choice for this, with how it ended up, basically, because I am going to take some riskier shots, and I am going to down a lot of elk in this situation. Now, after I took that one, they ran sort of up towards the top here of this area, and managed to actually drop that one with a spine shot. I was going for a long shot, but a spine shot works. It dropped him on the spot. I could see another bull there that I wanted to take out, so I'm just watching to see where that herd is going. Now, please don't think that this herd is trapped here. They are more than capable of running out past me in this area. They will do that. I have had animals do that in areas like this. This is just how the AI was working. And if animals are going to run around in front of me and I can see shot opportunities, I'm going to take them. If you were out in real life trying to manage or cull a herd, you know, and you've got shot opportunities because of how those animals are behaving, you're going to take them. And that's exactly what I basically took advantage of here. was the fact that these elk were choosing to go to mostly to the higher ground. And if they were coming towards me, then they're offering better shots. And if they're going up above me where I can see them more clearly, then that's giving me shot opportunities as well. Now, this one here starts to slow down just for a few seconds, and I had to reload, otherwise I probably would have been able to shoot him as well. You can see the one that I shot as it was running towards me, now just going down there. And then this bull starts to feed and calm down again, so that means I get another shot opportunity here. And again, I was pretty happy with that shot, and you can see another poor bull here. Just, they're all so poor. All of these bulls were just so incredibly small. And I just wanted to wipe this herd out in terms of all of the bulls. I was happy to leave the cows. I'm not interested in taking many females. But the quality of these bulls, it was just like, there's nothing going to come from these. So it's getting respawns effectively and hoping that eventually I could get maybe a 4-star mature or something in here to get some better youngsters. Now, again, some of them went back up in the direction where I had spine shot the one bull, and I'm just making sure on my distance there, and I line up, and I managed to get another shot on another one of the bulls. This was some longer range shooting for me as well. This was a bit of a challenge. Now, I say that loosely because I know that there's people that are taking like kilometre long shots in this game, but I tend to take very close shots, very measured, sort of 100 to 150 metre shots, rather than really long shots. So 300 metres for me was something I hadn't really shot as far as in this game. It was something I wasn't very experienced with, so I was quite interested to see how it would pay off, and it worked quite well, as you guys will have seen. Now, this is getting more into the ranges that I'm used to with this bull elk that just decided to trot straight towards me here. And this was a very cool look through the scope. He's almost silhouetted against the bright white background. And as you'll see, managed to get a good shot on him. And finally, the herd decides to move out of this area and just go. But that was the last bull out of the group. I did keep an eye as the females ran past, and that was the final bull. But like I said, in no way were they trapped in this area. They could have just run straight past me. Like I said, I've seen it happen before where I've had a group run into an area like that and they just turn and run straight past you. So yeah, I didn't want anyone to think that I was being unfair, even though this is of course pixel animals, but you will sometimes have people feel like something like that was unfair, but it was just how it went. And if I was on top of a cliff and I saw that with mountain goats with some poor individuals, I'd probably do the same and sit and pick as many of them off as I possibly could, because at the end of the day, I'm looking to get better herds, and when you've got animals like this 1-star mature, this isn't going to produce better animals in your herds. You want to get these individuals out. And I was really lucky and fortunate of how that actually paid off. Now, when I actually picked up that one elk, turns out that I had actually shot him at less than 100 metres. So I got the opportunity to actually complete a mission for someone there at the same time, which was pretty cool. Get the tread softly mission done at the same time, just from that bull coming towards me like that, which was a cool experience in and of itself, and just an extra bonus to get that mission done as well. Now, I am sort of going to speed run picking these up in a certain extent. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time looking at too much detail with these guys because they are all so poor. So incredibly, just very low quality genetics, very low quality animals, and the best thing to do, like I said, in terms of the herd management, was to just take as many out of this area as possible. Now, I actually haven't revisited this area in depth yet. I've been past it, but I'll be really interested to go through and actually look for elk specifically and see if any better bulls have moved into the area. I say moved into the area, I'm guessing respawned, but in my head it's like moved into the area, because if you're taking bulls out of a herd or any males out of a herd in real life, then there's obviously going to be opportunity for other males to move in. So in this game, it's just so realistic, I think, in those terms. Now, this bull I ended up taking 2 shots on. That first shot probably would have been enough to bring him down, but if I feel like I've not done the best on a first shot, I will always put a second shot in just to try and bring him down. Now, this was the best individual out of that entire herd, a 2-star mature, and you can see it's not a brilliant size for a mature elk bull, this again is quite a poor individual. And if this is the sort of the dominant bull of this herd, and all of these are technically his offspring, because that seems to be how this game works. I know it sounds bonkers, but I've seen it with, you have a wonky individual that seems to be the leader, the main male of the herd, and then all of the youngsters will have wonky horns or antlers as well, depending on the species. I've seen it with mountain goats, seen it with mule deer. So I'm going off of that respect, that he was poor, and so all of these other younger bulls in the same herd were poor. Now this once again is another mature, but 26.91 on the genetics. Now I'm still not entirely sure, like I said, exactly how that works, but lower genetics does seem to mean poor quality animal, and yeah, not a great mature animal there, just being a 1 star, which is unfortunate, but again, happy to get that one out of the herd. That's all I was looking to do here, is just get these guys down, and that's why I'm going through it rather quickly, although I know I'm probably rambling a little bit. But it was a very cool experience to take down a herd, all of the bulls in a herd like this. It was a little bit different, a little bit faster paced than you normally get on Way of the Hunter, and I actually really like that, because again, it's kind of like real life. You can have a really, really slow hunt, and then all of a sudden there's all this action going on, and that I thought was really cool, because it was incredibly slow paced. I was just going through, taking 1 or 2 animals out of the herd as I normally do, and then I end up in this situation where I get the opportunity to take multiple animals out of a herd, and you know, having that sort of quicker shooting and quicker hunting, it was just a complete change of pace, and it was just completely organic. It wasn't something that I knew was going to happen, it just happened while I was out here hunting in the mountains. And I really liked that feeling of just suddenly there was all this action for about 5 minutes, and then it was all over again. And it was just really, really cool, and I thought that was a pretty interesting thing, and I hope you guys actually enjoyed seeing a little bit of sort of more speed with some harvesting and shooting there. I thought that was really cool. Now, speaking of stuff that I thought was really cool, this moment, I recorded this several days ago at this point, and I've been waiting for an opportunity to fit it into a video somewhere, because this is probably the coolest experience I've had in the game, just in terms of encountering animals. Now, as you will have seen, this is the same spot that I was talking about earlier, where there's normally bighorn, mountain goats, and I said sometimes there can be wolves here as well. Well, I kind of spooked a pack of wolves as I was coming to this spot to check on one particular ram that I'd been watching, and this was just such an interesting experience. Because all of the bighorn, the mountain goats, they all fled. The wolves fled, which spooked everything initially anyway, I think. So everything took off. And I just waited a few seconds just to see if anything was going to happen. And then I see this wolf emerging from the tree line, walking back my way. And I thought, what's going to happen here? Why are they walking back this way? Are they maybe looking to go aggressive? What's going to happen? And I'm watching and I see more and more wolves coming out from the trees. And I thought, this is really cool, maybe I'll get a look at the whole pack. Once again, these animals aren't... This is kind of a similar area to where those elk just were, but on a different part of the map. But once again, they're more than capable of getting away. There's actually less steep sides in this particular area, and animals will just run off left or right as well. So it's not like they're being forced to walk back in this direction. As you'll see, the mountain goats and the bighorn, they took off and they left the scene. They went way up into the mountains. But the wolves decided to come back. And it ended up just being so cool. So you can see they're just slowly making their way sort of back down towards the water in front of me. And I thought I'll just stay here and stay still and just see how close they're going to get. At this point, I think the only time I'd seen grey wolves were way off in the distance. I'd taken a shot at one over on Transylvania. Again, it was a long distance shot. And I knew that the models looked pretty good, but I hadn't got to appreciate them just doing their thing like I had with seeing whitetail feeding and, you know, all of the other sort of prey animals just milling around and doing their own thing. I really hadn't got to experience that with wolves. it was always a very fleeting encounter. And this was just blowing my mind. Seeing a whole pack like this, how they were moving, and how they were just coming back towards me. I just had no idea why they had chosen to come back. In my head, they should have definitely just run off. You know, the wolves do seem to be quite alert, and so I was thinking, why haven't they just disappeared? Now, I spotted a few individuals, as you will have seen, and I was just basically choosing an individual here to take out. This female at the very front, I was very tempted to take her out just because of how close she was. But I decided I would go for a male and just try and get some respawns, hoping for some better genetics, because I really want to find some 5-star mature wolves. I really want some of these guys in my lodge. I think they are incredible and such a good addition to the game. Now that shot I knew must have been good, because this guy was just basically sort of hobbling away, and then yeah, he kind of goes down there. Really quite a cool animation for him. Just the way they lie down, kind of similar to the deer, but they have their own animation that's different from the deer. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I'm walking around to pick him up, like, oh, that was awesome. And then I see this. One of the wolves had come back out of the trees again and was looking straight at me. And I was like, if they decide to come back now, I am right in the line of where they were walking before. This would be incredible and insane if that happens. And this wolf was just watching carefully to see what I was doing, and then just slowly starts making its way towards me. I was like, there's no way this is going to happen. This would be just so incredible. And I know it's a game, but this felt so much like how things can happen in real life with animals. Animals are so unpredictable by nature that you never know if you're going to have a crazy experience where things like this happen. You know, an animal gets spooked from a certain location because of a noise or something, and then it comes bounding back. You never know what's going to happen. And that was the feeling I had here, as I sat here watching all of these wolves come out of the tree line, single file, coming towards me. That kind of just made it even crazier, the fact that they were walking in single file. Just, could it get more cinematic than this? As they walk across the snow here, or the ice, whatever it is supposed to be. I always say the snow, but, you know, just look at that. It's just the most incredible scene to see in a game. Now, I know that there's perhaps some things that could be done to improve how the wolves look, and I've seen a lot of people that have been a little bit critical of how they look in this game. I have no complaints. They look, in my opinion, incredible. I love how the wolves are. How they look, how they behave. I love that they're not incredibly aggressive. Would love to see a little bit more aggressive behaviour. I'm hoping to see that and record it. But just an experience like this. Look at how close they are. And yes, I did take some pictures with the in-game camera, which I'll put up at the end of the video. But just having them come so close, walking like that, this was just the coolest thing to me. And I know I've said cool maybe like 20 times in this video, but it really was. And I thought, okay, I'm going to need to take a wolf here. And I'd actually run out of my 7mm 08 ammo, so I had to use the 300 there to drop one. And then they all scatter. Now this one here, I tried to take a shot on as it ran away. Not sure if that hit at all. I didn't find any blood. I think it was just a little bit too slow, even though it looked like it impacted in the sort of guts of that poor wolf. But I couldn't find any trace of it, so I think it just got out of the way in time before the bullet actually got there. So this was the second wolf I took with the 300 there as it walked past really close. I wasn't even really bothered what individual I took out of that pack at this point. I just kind of wanted to get one while they were super close. 26.3 meters. How insane is that? I have been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to share this piece of footage. I have been so excited since this happened to share it. I've mentioned it to a few people. I've shown the pictures off saying that I had this incredible experience, but I've just not had the chance to put it in a video. I've been waiting to make this video to put this piece of footage in it. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. And again, just hats off to Nine Rocks Games, because they've just captured in my head how these animals would be in real life. And I really like it that you're not being attacked by the wolves every 5 minutes when you're around them, because it makes an encounter like this, where they are in your space and so close to you, it makes it so much more special. Because I have been in the mountains a lot recently, as you guys will see from all this footage, and from footage that's going to be in an upcoming video. And I haven't been attacked by a pack. I have seen quite a few wolves, normally off in the distance just before they spook. So this experience to me was so much crazier because of that. And I know, like I said, it probably sounds in some ways a bit silly, but that was a really special experience in this game for me. And I really, really enjoyed that, and everything that came along with that. It was just a cool moment. And if a game can give you cool, memorable moments, it's not just the trophies. I think that that's a really good thing. If you only focus on the trophies and less on the experience, it kind of takes away those things. But having cool experiences in and of themselves, I think adds so much to a game like this. Because it would in real life when you're out hunting. Not everything is about making a kill. Even though I did take a couple of wolves there, that was actually shooting those couple of wolves was the least cool part about that whole experience for me. The cool experience was seeing them walking in single file along that snow straight towards me, and actually just seeing them that close when I know how skittish these animals are. It was an insane experience, and that's one that I won't forget while playing Way of the Hunter. I'll always remember that experience with the wolves. It was just awesome. And I just think it was a really, really cool thing. And yeah, I've been so excited to share it. So I hope you guys found that as cool as I did when it actually happened, and with recording and all of this. Because yeah, super excited about that. And like I said, I think the fact that they've managed to capture hunting experience, not just making kills and putting trophies in your lodge, but the actual experience of it, I think that's something pretty special. But that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching and for all your support as always. So sorry I haven't been able to upload over the past few days as I was under the weather. Thank you guys so much for all your well wishes, and hopefully I'll be able to keep uploading a bit more regularly again now. Thank you just so much for watching the video, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.